Hello friends, what is up? It's your girl Katie DaisyHeart here with another video, and today I'm going to be putting my opinion and commentary in regards to FaerieQueens' new video, What is Happening to Wizard101. She's a really great, amazing content creator, so if you guys haven't watched this video already, make sure to look in the description, check it out, it's phenomenal. And I just thought I would make a video myself talking about it just because I kind of have experience in other dead communities. If you guys don't know, I made content for the game Animal Jam, which is more directed towards children, and I myself have made a video about that game dying. I'd love to give my output in regards to being a person who's been a part of many dead communities such as Club Penguin, Town, you know, only the pro games, only the ones for the pros. Quick side note, I have watched this briefly, but I want to just go full ham in on it. I want to put all my output, all my commentary, we're doing it. So let's get to it.
What is happening to Wizard101? Where have the views gone? Where are the players? And what has happened to the community? The community has been divided, WizTubers are losing views, and realms have been more quiet than ever. What does this mean? And why is this happening? I believe KingsIsle is leading Wizard101 to its downfall. The recent additions of very obvious money-grabbing techniques are honestly kinda shady. For example, spellment packs. They don't give you any idea of the drop rate percentages. Okay, really quick, precisely, I have never understood spellment packs. Me personally, I hate them. I hate them. The idea of having to spend money for a spell, you know, because maybe it's just because I played when I was younger, so spellaments weren't always a thing. You know, I'm used to spending money to get permanent mounts, but the idea of having to spend money to get spells such as Pigsy when you can farm it from a lore master is just kind of irritating. I know some people would rather go the pay to win route just because it's easier, but to me personally, just going out of your way and getting it yourself is just so much more satisfying, and it's really sad that not all of these spells have that availability. Like the Ravenwood lore pack, the spells nobody even really cared for. You don't really see them being used. Like nobody freaked out when those spells came out. So the fact that they're using spellment packs in an attempt to money grab people, and they're not even releasing good spells too? Like, how are you gonna, at least if you're gonna release them, give us good spells, okay? Like, make me more tempted. Make me more tempted to buy spellment packs, at least. The only reason why I wanted Camp Bandit is because of a raccoon. Quite unfortunately, KI, I'm not gonna spend a few $100s trying to get Camp Bandit because I want a cute raccoon that I'm not gonna use frequently. The Scroll of Fortune is another example of this technique. It's a battle pass-like feature that costs non-members 15,000 crowns and members 7,500 crowns.
Yeah, I was really excited when I came back more consistently to the community to participate in these events such as the Scroll of Fortune, but I realized that it's not even worth it, and a lot of the good prizes you have to spend a ton of crowns for, because I would rather like sit here opening packs. But then again, I love opening packs. That's just kind of a hoarder in me, you know? I don't know, that's just me personally. That's never been something to grab my attention.
There hasn't been any new or worthwhile content in months.
But Lizzo. No, the Lizzo thing for me personally, like the update in Firecat Alley, it was really funny to me. I actually, in real life, I have an inside joke with my boyfriend where I'm like I'll just do this randomly. I'll be like, oh my god, is that Lizzo? And don't ask me where that came from. I don't know. One day I just did it and I never stopped doing it. Other than that, update-wise, I can't really think of anything that was too insane or extremely noteworthy, at least in the time that I've been consistently making content.
2020 summer update was revolutionary with newly added character customization and gear changes.
So I'm a pretty inconsistent player, or at least I was, right? And I remember I had came back after the huge graphic change, and I remember just looking at it and I was like, oh, I hate it. But that's just because you get used to the way that the graphics were before, but I prefer them so much more now. And honestly, that was a huge game changer. Like, I look back and I literally had a whole day where I looked back at old videos of how the graphics used to be. So that was honestly a huge game changer. Even though they kept it pretty original to what it was enough to look not old.
The 2021 summer update was very disappointing. Instead, KingsIsle simply added skeleton key bosses. And although they did update Firecat Alley, Haunted Cave, and Cyclops Lane this summer, I personally still feel that those updates aren't noticeable enough to return life to the game.
Really quick, one of the updates that I actually did like a lot but is completely misused is the friendly players feature. I love the feature so much. I love the idea of it, somebody coming to help you. Actually, when it first came into the live realm, I actually had 2 random guys follow me and they were like, hey, you need help? And they helped me out with questing, and it was really awesome. But a lot of people, including myself, like I'm completely guilty of this, literally use it for teleporting to where we need to go. And if you know, you know. But it's like sad because like it was a cool update, but it's definitely not used really.
Is the lack of worthwhile content a sacrifice that KingsIsle has made in order to focus on other content that actually monetizes the game instead? Okay, think about all of the new packs, key bosses, and Scrolls of Fortune that have come out in the past year, instead of meaningful improvements that they could make. Wizard101 has been out for 13 years, and Wizard City still isn't free.
I absolutely agree. I couldn't agree more. Because I actually have a few people that I introduced to Wizard101, and before you get a membership on a game, you want to get to know the game, you know? You want to know, hey, is this gonna really be worth my time? And one of my friends, if you're watching this now, Sammy, I was actually teaching her how to play the game and everything, and she couldn't get really far because when you have a friend playing with you, showing you the game too, like it's like you speed through it like really fast, and then all of a sudden you immediately need membership, and you're like, oh wow, is this what my life will depend on?
PvP is dead. The meta is constantly changing and making it hard for players to stay in the loop of how to play. And despite loads of player feedback, they can never seem to get it right. We've been asking for 5th Age for over a year, and it's still not out. KingsIsle once had a birthday celebration where they gave out dragon mounts to longtime players, but in 2020, for their 12th birthday, they added a reskin of the mount as a pet to the crown shop for 10,000 crowns, making a monetization scheme out of their own birthday.
Thinking about it, it makes me feel icky because you could really tell that they're really just trying to put things in the crown shop for you to buy, but it's like, why are you gonna put like a reskin of it of the pet? Like, at least actually put the mount. Come on, the pet, like, they always do it with the pets, and like you can hatch with most of the pets, so like what is the point? Honestly, pets in Wizard101 crown shop, scam. If you can hatch with them, scam.
As of September 2021, I'm very unhappy with the game's state right now. It feels like Wizard101 is dying. I know that this has been one of the central debates of this game for years. I mean, literal years. But in this period of time, it seems especially relevant due to how low the activity of the community is.
Another thing to keep in mind about the Wizard101 community dying is when KingsIsle isn't releasing good content, that means that there are less and less content creators trying to promote the game. And by that, for example, I do farming videos. How often do you guys see a really good update video from me? One of my first videos was actually me checking out the Cool Ranch Gauntlet, and that, I think, is actually one of my least viewed videos. Really, nobody was too interested in that. Releasing good content in the game is extremely important because people will promote it. If they release something good, people are gonna talk about it and it's gonna spread like wildfire. But if nothing good happens, nobody's gonna promote it. People mainly like to watch code videos now. They like to know if there's codes. Like, honestly, like the last big thing I can really think of that like really shocked me, at least in the time of me making content consistently, was like the free Nebula mount. Like, that was actually really awesome. Other than that, like, there hasn't really been anything too noteworthy content-wise that really made me freak out and talk about it for a long time.
And personally, it's really hard for me to admit this. I've spent a lot of my time defending this game's liveliness, perhaps out of fear of my comfort game closing, or losing the sparkle that it once had. But I'm gonna be honest with myself and honest with you guys. After years of observation, playing, chatting, and content making, I'm speaking up about this. PvP is the main endgame hobby that we have, and even that isn't enough.
I myself, it's hard for me to personally speak on that because I myself still haven't maxed out a wizard and gotten into PvP, but I have noticed that everybody who has maxed out, the end goal is PvP, getting into PvP, and the fact that that meta keeps changing for everybody and it's not all fun and games, like it's not consistent. I kid you not. I think I actually watched FaerieQueens' video and guide for PvP, and I think that was only released like a year ago. And like all of the treasure cards I packed, I didn't check, but they weren't allowed for PvP anymore. So I got in a round, right? Because I don't do PvP. And I had no cards. I was screwed. Ooh. Speaking from being in another community, I don't entirely think that the game is dead. I just don't feel like there's a lot of content to promote in the game. I personally, myself, make videos regarding farming and stuff, and this is stuff that has already existed, and it's pretty hard for other people to make like content on that if they've already done it, if it's already been said and done. My videos are primarily for people who, you know, maybe they want to watch somebody for some sort of humor because I'm a noob, or simply because they're in the same position as me trying to max out going through this specific thing. And being a content creator in another community and feeling exactly like the community was dying, seeing the difference in the community, it's very tough and it's very hard to like think about, because by the end of the day, a lot of the games that we care for, we're not gonna have when we're older. So that's why we have to enjoy them when we're younger. But how can we enjoy them if there's not enough content being released?
The only thing that this game has going for it right now is a new world being added. And that only happens once every couple years. As a player, I want to know what your guys' thoughts are towards the state of Wizard101. Will Lemuria bring life back into the game? Do you still play Wizard101? And if you do, why?
So speaking from being in another community and everything, especially one that got extremely toxic, I completely understand the position of feeling like a game is dying, how feeling comforted by a game and everything, but not exactly holding interest in it because of the state that it's in. In the Animal Jam community too, it actually got extremely toxic. Within the last year, there were 2 major hackings. One was actually an exploit against very popular content creators, and the other one was just a huge data breach that wasn't noticed till like a month later. So it's definitely really interesting to switch my content up, be making content for Wizard101 and seeing a video like this towards Wizard101 when I personally haven't seen as much of a problem just because I was in a more toxic community. But regarding Wizard101 dying, I don't think it's necessarily dying yet. I definitely feel like it's not a game to shut down soon. Most definitely not. That would just be absurd. The game still makes money. There are tons of players that play Wizard101. Even though views drop and everything, and content creators would know. If you're a bigger content creator, you will see and have an idea when nobody is watching Wizard101 videos. People still watch Wizard101, but I notice in comparison to most other games, Wizard101 doesn't have as big of a social community. And by that, I mean, for example, when I played Animal Jam, a bunch of people had Animal Jam Instagram accounts, and that's not common for Wizard101. I have a personal Wizard101 Instagram, and people will follow me on their main accounts, you know. They don't have Wizard101 dedicated accounts, you know. It's just not as popular. I definitely think that there are still a good amount of people playing, but I definitely feel like there's a lot of people who stop playing because of the excessive changes in PvP, because after you max out, what else do you do? For example, me personally, I've been invested in every game I play because I've been able to associate things I like in it. For example, you guys know me, I like doing art, so there's a bunch of contests like throughout Wizard101 Discord servers or Wizard101 themselves where you can like enter art contests or whatnot, and that's actually what this is for. I made this for Gamma's trading post and I actually got like first place, so I'm able to intertwine hobbies that I have in real life to keep this game alive for me, you know? Other than that, the thing that really keeps me personally going has been making content. Making Wizard101 videos has made it more interesting for me personally. And if it weren't for that, I probably wouldn't have batted an eye at any of these updates. Like, I really wouldn't have. Like, I probably just would have been like, okay, cool, you know? But just having an audience in general, it just makes it so much more enjoyable, and not everybody is in that position where they kind of rely on making content to, you know, still feel interested in the game. So it's very easy for people to lose interest, especially when the last resort at the end of it all is to do something like PvP or talk to friends, but then your friends are quitting and now what do? I definitely feel like the new world Lemuria will bring a lot of attention back to Wizard101, and I feel like a lot of its life can be brought back if they make the right choices from that point forward. Because if they release that world and they have a bunch of updates planned for after they release the world, then they did it right. Because a lot of people are going to come back, you know, finish Lemuria, and if they release a ton of new actual content, it's gonna keep people around, and that would be the smartest way to go about it. Because if they're releasing just small things like codes, you know, that might attract some people but not everybody. You know, a new world and then having good updates following that, smart move. But that's pretty unpredictable, as we are not them. We can only talk about this and hope that the community itself will reach out for a difference and hope that they listen. I truly hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I would absolutely love to hear what you guys would have to say. If you guys have had like a similar experience in any other community, how it's relative towards this, what you guys think about Wizard101, what you still enjoy about it. I would love to hear anything you guys have to say. And other than that, guys, again, check out FaerieQueens, she's absolutely amazing. And other than that, make sure to show your support by leaving a like, commenting, and or subscribing. And I really hope I have the honor of seeing you guys next time. Okay, bye friends!